everybody, I'm the TheZodiacLord, and I didn't know my next one was gonna be this. So, that video, thing about Mary Sue's, I didn't know that was going to blow up. Jesus. Oh, goodness. I think it's one of, if not the most popular video on my channel now, which is shocking because the most popular video before that was a video that accumulated that popularity over months of time. And it's been around for like over 7 months, I think. And the thing about Mary Sue's has hardly been a week until it got that high, and it's very shocking. I'm gonna talk. Oh man, I don't want to make this entire video about that, but like, I mean, seriously, like 6,000 likes, almost 200 dislikes, but I mean 6,000 versus 200, you know, pretty good, I think. Like over 100,000 some views in hardly a week. And then, like, I think it said over 1,500 comments. Like, jeez. Man, that video, I had no idea that was gonna happen. That was nuts. But I've gotten a lot of comments, and obviously with a lot of comments and with almost 200 dislikes, there's some things like questionable things. I've looked at the video and there's definitely a lot of flaws with that video that I could have corrected, and I pinned my comment that I was correcting some things, but apparently, like, no one's reading it for some reason. I don't know why, but you know, whatever. I'm actually making this video to kind of correct myself a little bit and also add on to what I'm saying, because there are some things that I should have elaborated on that I think I could have said better, because in the end that was a very rambly video. It was meant to be rambly because that video was legitimately, I had like some thoughts in the shower, as everyone does. I got out, I sat down, and I thought about it a little bit, like laying in bed doodling, and then I got up being like, no, I'm gonna make a video. I got up, it was late at night, I recorded it. It was totally unplanned, not anything. Had I known it was going to get that popular, I would have scripted. Like, geez. So yeah, I would have organized my thoughts better. I think my biggest complaint was that I repeated myself a lot, which makes sense. I tend to do that when I ramble because it's actually kind of a refresher for me. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I established that. I want to establish it again. Whatever. You can tell I'm rambling. I have points written down for this, but I don't have it fully scripted, except for some of my points are rather long, and I do have those written down, kind of. And so a lot of them are points addressed in the pinned comment on that video, whatever. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to make a video to kind of defend myself, I guess. I'm not gonna like dance around it. It's kind of defend myself, kind of address some things that I think I want to clear up, because there are some recurring comments, of course, and with over 1,500 comments, I can't reply to them all. There's no way. So I'm kind of making this to clear things up a little bit. I have no idea what is going to be in the background of this. Literally no clue. I don't know, maybe I'll redraw Mary Sue and Marina Susan. I don't know. And some of these are sillier, some of these are funnier, some of these are more serious, whatever. So yeah, it's still going to be a little bit rambly, but hopefully it's a bit more concise and easier to understand. And I do want to kind of like correct some things and add to some things that I said. So let's just do it. The first thing, though, I want to establish, actually, because I have gotten a lot of new subscribers. I'm up to 25,000 now, somehow. But yeah, there was a lot of people who... I just want to say that I am a boy. I identify as a boy. I just want to say that real quick. It's not really that important, and I don't care. Like, there are people calling me a she or her. I genuinely don't care that much. It doesn't really ruin my day. I just want to say that, though, just because I want to... It's just kind of a fact I want people to know, just for future reference, you know? But yeah, just that quick point. Also, like, again, I would have scripted that video had I known it was going to get so much attention, because a lot of my most popular videos, like, just in pure honesty, you can look at my popular videos, and you know my most popular videos are my Fuse Day Tuesdays and my Crep Day Monday. The Mondays. Those are my most popular videos. Although they are kind of dying a little bit in popularity. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, so those are very clearly my most popular videos. So when I make videos like these commentary ramble things, they don't, in fact, even with the fusions and the corruptions, the commentary paints don't get as much views as the actual speed paint itself. So, and I know I made like a very clickbaity kind of title thumbnail kind of thing, but I still wasn't expecting that much attention for it. I actually expected it would be just kind of random fans who wanted to say hi or whatever. Again, it was late night ramble, so, and I'm doing it again, obviously. But anyway, of course, I want to say, and I haven't actually rewatched my video since I put it up, so if I'm forgetting some things, I apologize. But there are some people who seem to think that I'm angry at the parody sues, which isn't the case. People can, like, there was actually someone I think who said, like, I was taking parodies way too seriously, which is funny because I'm of the belief that if you're not hurting anyone and you're not attacking me, do whatever you want. I genuinely do not care. My reservations came more from a place of people who were getting the wrong idea on what a Mary Sue is, and that we have such an image of what a stereotypical Mary Sue is that we forget that Mary Sues exist on a very broad spectrum, which sounds very stupid when I say it. Honestly, that video, just listening to myself, even now as I'm talking, I sound stupid because just like there's a spectrum of Mary Sues. It's like, I don't know, I sound silly, but you know. But that was kind of my thing. The parody thing I was mentioning, and again, this is my fault because, again, ramble, didn't script. The parody thing was more of a gateway into my train of thought because in the shower I was thinking, like, these Mary Sue parodies, they're always the same kind of thing. In fact, like, as stupid as it sounds, there's not a lot of variation in the parodies, you'll notice. And again, I have literally nothing against parodies. I find some parody Sues hilarious, and I find it fun to kind of look at them and stuff like that. I've made a parody Sue before. There's a stream. There's proof of that. There's proof on my DA. I have made a parody Sue. So my reservations are not with parodies. I think parodies are fine. Parodies are funny. Parodies are just a fun thing. I love parodies and a general thing. My point was that looking at parodies of these Mary Sues, I noticed a lot of reoccurring themes to them. Always princesses. Always the same body type. Always the eye-bleeding rainbow colors. Always I get like the same kind of traits. Which is fine because there are characters a very small amount, like, obviously not exaggerated to that extent because parodies exaggerate, but because there's Mary Sues like that. But in reality, how many actual Mary Sues can you think of that were princesses? I guarantee you not all of them were. Again, like I said, Mary Sues are kind of on a spectrum. And someone actually in that video said that, and I'd find the comment, but again, there's a lot of comments that I'd have to sift through. But there's someone who actually mentioned that Mary Sues exist on kind of a spectrum. In fact, that's actually kind of what I wanted to do with Marina Susan, was like I was showing that she wasn't a princess. She didn't have some long ridiculous name. She didn't she was very, like, not a typical Mary Sue kind of thing, you know? And a lot of like Mary Sues in media, again, I will use Bella Swan forever and always. And some people actually got mad that I used Bella Swan, and they were talking about, like, you should read the books, not watch the movies. I'm not going to read the books, I just want to tell you, but I was just going off of the movies. Technically speaking, the books and the movies could be their own universes. I don't care. The movie Bella Swan, the movie version of Twilight, that Bella Swan, she's not a princess. She doesn't have a long, ridiculous name. Her name is rather generic in a sense, you know. She's not flashy and colorful. So that's where my sort of, like, it came from. And even to add on to that, I won't lie, it also came from the fact that I get very irritated when I hear people where I hear people, OC reviewers in particular, and I'm not hating on OC reviewers, I'd be hating on myself if I did. Um, it just sometimes when I see people like look at a design of the character and just the design, and they say, you know, your character has some unusual things about it. That's kind of Mary Sue-ish. It kind of ticks me off because bad designs and Mary Sue's are not interchangeable. Now, some people were pointing out that like I did say that I did kind of make it sound that like designs weren't important at all. Character designs are important, very important, especially in comics and things like that. But I was saying that the bio was overall kind of more important. And when it comes to Mary Sue's are purely, I can't talk, I swear, are purely literary. A character can have a terrible, horrendous design and not be a Mary Sue. And the character could have a very nice design, a very good, well thought out design, and be a Mary Sue. That's what I was trying to say. And again, I don't think I was very clear because, again, I didn't script. That's all my fault. I just want you to know. It's all my fault. I'm not saying anyone misinterpreted what I said. I probably was very hard to understand. But yeah, it's so overall, just to like TLDR, my issue wasn't with the parodies. The parodies got me thinking about how I feel like Mary Sue's are so stereotyped that we see a character, like this female character with big boobs and a tiny waist, and we think that's a Mary Sue, while there are other characters that have pleasant designs, but you look at their bio, and their bio is terrible. And again, that's not everyone. That's not a general statement, and actually, I'm sure that this is a very strong minority, but I can still talk about it, you know? And again, I don't care. Like, you can, and like, the thing about Mary Sue's as well is that they are purely subjective. My opinion, my definition of a Mary Sue might not align with other people's. It's a term that's been warped into many different shapes and sizes, and none of them are all necessarily right or wrong. And it's part of the reason why I don't really like evaluating characters anymore, at least on Mary Sue-ness, because I feel like it's a term that's so subjective that you can't exactly make a good argument for it. Because, well, you could say it's a Mary Sue because of this. Someone else might think, well, according to my definition of a Mary Sue, that's doesn't count towards a Mary. Yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. So, yeah. The parodies are not my issue. The parodies are fine. Like, literally, totally fine. My issue was that I feel like people are beginning to kind of stereotype what a Mary Sue is overall. Like, there's only one kind of Mary Sue, when in reality there are many different versions. There's even an anti-Sue, apparently, which is a character that's really just an edgy character, to be honest. But you know what? Let's just not get into that. And I do have to address this because even when I put it in my comment, nobody reads it and people are still commenting about it. And I won't lie, it's getting on my nerves. Okay, so I don't know at this point if purple eyes are a thing that can or cannot exist. I see a lot of people telling me they can in fact exist and that they're extremely rare, and other people saying, no, it's not actually real, etc. And at this point, I don't know what to believe. All I can say is, whoops, if they're real, sorry I gave Marina Susan purple eyes, and I can't change that. You're fine to critique me, but after I get more than 10 people telling me the exact same thing on something that I can't even change now anyway, you can see where I might get a little irritated. So, yeah, I just want to say this. I'm also aware that Marina Susan looks like Aaron and Danny's love child from the Game Grumps. That was not intentional, and I didn't realize it until after I made her. And you know what? That could go along with her too. That's her bio now. She is Danny and Aaron's love child. That's what she is. I accept that headcanon full in. So yeah, that's a more ridiculous thing. But you know. And this last one, these last two are going to be kind of long. Again, I'm going through bullet points, and I already merged two of them together, and this was already 15 minutes long. Swell. 50% of the comments I've seen on that video have been things like, enter character here is Mary Sue. I think the most common ones I saw were Aphmau and Superman. And then there was also a lot of other superheroes that were thrown under the bus, and then some people just kind of generalized like, oh, it's Marvel superheroes are Mary Sue's. Which to that I'd actually say, I have a very, I could go on a whole tangent about how Superman and Batman and characters like that are not Mary Sue's and actually are not overpowered, but I might save that. You know, do you guys want to see that video where I go on a tangent about how Superman and Batman are not Mary Sue's and I'm not even totally emotional? I love Batman. Superman, I'm kind of whatever. But I could go on a tangent. It's not even that like I love the characters and I want to defend them to the end. It's just that they're not anyway. But if you want to see that video, I guess let me know. It'd just be a ridiculous video of me ranting for 20 minutes. But yeah, so I saw a lot of those comments, and there's a lot of them I can't really comment on because I don't know the characters very well. Like Harry Potter. People are going to shoot me for this, but I've never read Harry Potter. I think I've seen one movie, kind of, and not even that well. So I've never really seen the movies or read the books. So I can't really judge from that. But it kind of made me realize something with how many people were saying that, like, by this definition, this is a Mary Sue. Like, hearing this made me think of all these other characters that I think are Mary Sue's. And it made me realize something. For one thing, Mary Sue is so subjective, and I said this earlier, but like it's so subjective that is it even a big deal? Like honestly, and I know that's gonna sound super hypocritical because I just like Zodiac. You made a video ranting about Mary Sue's and stuff like that. Like yeah, but I don't really take them that seriously. I don't take any of this stuff that seriously. Believe it or not, like people were saying it, but the card that's me making an entertaining video, and I'm very passionate about writing, but I see a Mary Sue on the internet and it doesn't like fill me with rage. I don't care. And plus, this is a whole, every time anything that comes out of my mouth, I get ideas for other videos. I swear to God. But some people just take it too seriously sometimes. Like people saying like I'm taking like my video too seriously. Like in reality, I'm just making a video and I'm putting it online, venting my thoughts. But in reality, like if you wanted to get in like if you told me I'm wrong, I'd be like, okay, I don't care. Like because Mary Sue's are subjective. That's why I don't get up in arms. That's why I don't like comment on every OC reviewer's video when they use the term Mary Sue differently than how I would have. Or, you know, why I don't like I just, I'm passionate about the subject, but I'm not that serious. It's kind of ridiculous to me. In fact, I actually love, like, in fact, I even laughed because I saw all these people saying, like, insert character here is Mary Sue. And I was like, you know, we're all Mary Sue's. Can we all just accept that all of us in this world are all Mary Sue's? Just all of us collectively are just a bunch of Mary Sue's all partying together. Let's just do that. The world's Mary Sue's. But yeah, so, and in all honesty, Mary Sue's can still be entertaining. Like, clearly, because of all these popular characters that maybe you don't like, maybe you do, are popular, and if they're supposedly quote-unquote Mary Sue's, then doesn't that mean Mary Sue's aren't really even that big a deal with online characters? Because they could still be entertaining in a story world context, but depending on the other characters they interact with in the world and their environment. Seriously, that's another tangent. That'll come one day. I swear. I will. That is like on my list. I'm going to do it. I'm going to rant about context with stories when it comes to OC reviews. I swear. I keep getting off topic. I apologize. But yeah. Context is a very important part of judging characters, and that's another thing. That's one I'm actually seriously passionate about because takes me off a little bit. But yeah, so, like, you know, it's kind of just, why are Mary Sue's even taken so seriously? Like, I know, again, I made a video, I'm a hypocrite, whatever, but, like, again, I don't really take them that seriously. like in reference to people who seem to think that your character, that Mary Sue's are like the bane of existence and all of them should be, how dare you even have one, even though, as many people in that video mentioned, um, Mary Sue's, like, in all honesty, well, not only is perfection subjective, but there was also a lot of people who were mentioning, like, um, all of us, anyone who's made a character before, I guarantee you, has made a Mary Sue in their lifetime. And if they haven't, they've gotten very close and their character was still bad. I even think that character creation is something I'm very good at. And I think looking back on some of the first characters I ever had, I actually think the stories were shitty, but they were decent characters, you know? And that's not me bragging like, oh yeah, I'm super good at making characters. Like, no, my old characters were horrendous, and I've been constantly changing them and improving them, which will make a thing one day, someday. Um, but like people said, we've all made Mary Sue's at one point if you're into making characters. It's part of a learning process. And the fact that there are people who get super up in arms about Mary Sue's to where they freak out when they find one. But that's another rant for another day. I'm going to move on. Also, I wanted to say there was also, I forgot to add this in earlier, there were some people who were talking about how I said that Marina Susan had mental disorders and how, well, now she's not perfect because those make you flawed, which is true, but you missed my point on my definition of a Mary Sue. My definition is that they are unaffected by the narrative. Whatever flaws they may or may not have don't seem to affect them unless it's, like, narratively relevant. Like, these flaws that they have don't exist unless it's convenient, you know? And if you, like, I even said in the thing that, like, has a bunch of mental disorders that don't seem to affect her. Like, that was my point, you know? Because obviously a character with mental disorders is gonna be flawed. And that's true, but do those flaws affect the character? That's the difference. In fact, that's even what I said, like, there's people who flip out about, like, balancing character traits. Like, you have to keep your character balanced, or it's a bad character, when in reality you could have a assload of good traits and only a few bad traits, but if those bad traits are enough to actually limit the character, prevent the character from achieving their goal, inhibit them, hold them down, and affect them, and some of their good traits as well, that's not even going into the fact that their good traits can be flipped around to work against them as well. Again, that's another rant, I swear to God. I swear, I have a whole army of subjects I could talk about, man. But, you know, so yeah, I know I said she had mental disorders and things like that, but it's not the fact that she has flaws, it's whether or not they actually affect her in a like the affect her in the story, and that's what I was going for. It's just, yeah, that real quick. But, like, I'll leave it off with a point I should have addressed in the original video a lot more, and I kind of brush on here. Do whatever the hell you want. Like, really, make your parodies, make your Mary Sues, interpret Mary Sues and OCs however you want, make your Mary Sue parodies. I could not care less. Again, like the people said, there are people who seem to think that I'm super serious about this, that I'm taking it all too seriously. I'm not. I don't care what you do. Character creation, storytelling, and art in general is subjective. And we all have our own views on it, you know? And while I might think that Mary Sue's really aren't that horrible, like they aren't some monster in the night, some other people might, and they're not wrong for thinking that. I'm not wrong for thinking my thing, and I'm also not right for thinking my thing. It's a subjective thing, you know? And there's facts you could use, but, like, when it comes to something like character creation, it's so subjective and based on context, and it depends on so much, you know? So, like, legitimately, you can have your opinion and I will have mine, and I've actually loved the amount of variety of comments I've received on that video, and the lack of flame wars, which is very good for YouTube, shockingly. I've actually received, like, I'm not just receiving comments, like, worshiping my opinions and saying, you're totally right. I'm obviously getting them, but that's not all I'm getting. And I'm also not getting loads of half-assed "you're wrongs" and "you're stupid for thinking that," or "your subjective opinion is incorrect." And I'm sure they're there, but again, I haven't been able to actually read all the comments because it's very hard. Because there was like 3 days where I didn't look at the comments on the video, and it sprung from like 200 to almost 1,000. So, yeah, sorry. But I was getting people who were, I was getting some of those, I'm sure, but I was also getting lots of people who were expanding on what I said or politely disagreeing with me and defending their reasons for disagreeing with me, which is really cool. And that's what I love about, I think probably one of the things I love about most when I start conversations like this and I encourage people to comment, I get so many different opinions, so many different stories, so many points of view, and that's all really cool to me. And it's been fun reading what comments I could and can. And I mean, some of them are harsher than others, and that's just the reality. But like genuinely, I'm okay with criticism. I mean, I get a bit irritated when it's the same comment, like "people could have purple eyes" like 20 plus times. But anyway, so yeah, like I know that there's flaws in that video. I mean, I wouldn't be making this video if there weren't flaws that I needed to correct and things I needed to expand upon and all that good stuff. But regardless of those flaws, I'm counting this video, that video as a general success, and I think I know what direction I need to go in now with my channel, I think. So yeah, you can definitely expect more of these. So yeah. Despite its flaws, I'm happy that I made it, and I'm happy I put it out there, and I'm happy everyone watched it. So thanks for everyone who took the time to watch that video, and this one, too. I'm definitely going to be continuing this series, and I will definitely be scripting from now on. And if you want to suggest something I should talk about next, feel free. I have a lot of ideas. I literally have a note in my phone that I just whipped out one night, and I just literally everything that just came off the top of my head I wrote down that I would want to talk about, and it's long. So I have a lot of ideas, so if there's something a lot of people want to hear my thoughts on, I'll see about doing it. Like, most likely some of the things that I'm thinking about talking about, probably things people might want to hear me talk about. So, I have a suggestion, leave it down below if you want to criticize me. Just literally, once again, my only rule on my channel is no flame wars. Don't, whether you agree or disagree with me, don't, just be respectful for other people and don't flame people. That's just a general life rule. So yeah, I didn't expect this to be even longer than the thing about Mary Sue's, but you know what? Here we are. So, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video, whatever it may be. Zodiac out.